Hello everybody, my name is Miss Oliveras and I am your math teacher, and today we're going to be continuing our lessons for pre-algebra, and today's topic is the order of operations, and remember this is lesson number 3. So after this presentation, you will be able to determine the order of operations. You will be using parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. And I'm also going to give you my little tips and tricks to remember our orders of operations. When we evaluate our expressions, we use one set of rules so that everyone arrives at the same correct answer. And you will notice that some people do not follow the order of operations and they always have different types of answers. That is why it's so important for us to learn our order of operations. Again, those set of rules, that is what we call order of operations, and I'm going to show you some tips and tricks to remember them. These set of rules are based on doing the most powerful operations first, for example, exponents. Then we will move to the less powerful ones like multiplication and division, and those we answer left from right depending on how they are written. Then we'll finalize with the least powerful ones, and those are addition and subtraction. Again, we do them from left to right depending on the order that they're at. We are also grouping symbols like parentheses, and we're grouping some numbers there, and that will tell us to evaluate this part first. So again, we're going to do parentheses, then we're going to do exponents, then we're going to do multiplication and division depending on where they at from left to right, and then we're going to be doing subtractions, addition and subtractions, again from left to right depending on where they are. Now, there are a few ways that we can remember the order of operations, and one of them is using this acronym, is PEMDAS. And what it means is the P means parentheses, the E means exponents, the M means multiplication, the D means division, and we remember that multiplication and division, we do them left from right, depending on where they are in our expression. And then we do addition and subtraction. The A means addition, the S means subtraction, and those two we also do them depending where they are, from left to right. Now, if for some reason you cannot memorize this acronym PEMDAS, maybe it's a little bit too difficult, maybe it's a little bit too weird, maybe you can remember this silly little sentence, and it's called "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally." And this is the one that I like to use. The please means parentheses because it starts with a P. Excuse, that means exponent because it starts with an E. My means multiplication. Dear means division because it starts with an M and a D. And we also remember that we do this in order from left to right. Then we have aunt, and we use the letter A to symbolize addition, and Sally meaning subtraction. Again, we do addition and subtraction from left to right. But you can memorize it each way. You can memorize it with the acronym. You can memorize it with that little silly sentence, or you can just memorize the order as it's supposed to. Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtractions. Expressions with only addition and subtraction, multiplication and division. And in this case, multiplication and division will be done first, again, left to right, and then addition and subtraction, again, left to right. Now, let's do some problems. And again, you can pause this video at this time, try to solve it by yourself, and then check the next slide to verify your answer. If your answer was 14, then good job. And I'm going to explain you what we did here. First, we started with our division. I had a subtraction, a division, and an addition. And our rules of operation says that we first have to do our multiplications and divisions. So I did my division, and 12 divided by 2 equals 6. Then I used again my order of operation, and I had a subtraction and an addition. And I always gonna answer left from right when I have addition and subtraction. The first one I had was a subtraction, and 16 minus 6 was 10. And then I added my 4, and 10 plus 4 was 14. So again, if your answer was 14, then good job. Let's do one more. Again, you can pause this video at this time and try to answer this expression in your notebook. Now I'm going to explain briefly what we did. The first thing that we answered was the multiplication, and yes, that is a sign of multiplication in our computers. If we use an X for multiply, then we can get confused with a variable, so I like to use this little sign. It's like the dot that we would do in our notebook. So again, this is one way that we can say that we multiply. We can also use parentheses, or we can use that X, but again, we can get confused with our variables. So the first thing that we did was multiply, and then we subtracted. This is going to be our answer, 1934. And if this was the same as yours, then good job. Now try to solve this one. Where would you start? Would you start with a multiplication, with a division, or a subtraction? Check out your order of operations. Again, you can pause this video, you can go back and forth. This material is on LMS, and if for some reason you are missing it, you just have to send me a message through my email and I'll send it to you. Now I'm going to explain a little bit what we did here, and what we did was answer first our multiplication, then we did our division. Once we had those, then we went again in our order and we answered that division right here. And then when we had that answered, we did our subtraction, and our answer at the end is a 1. So if your answer matches mine, then good job. Now, when we have in our expressions, when we have exponents, we have to understand that they are more powerful than our multiplication and our divisions. So that is the reason why we do them before multiplying or dividing. Now let's do some examples, shall we? Again, you can pause this video at this time, try to solve it first on your notebook, and then check out the answer in the next slide. So to solve this problem, all you have to do was first solve your exponent, and you have 12 to the second power. That was 144. Then we did our division. We divided them by 6. That was 24. Then we did our subtraction because it was the first one in order, because when you had subtractions and addition, or addition and subtractions, we always start from left to right. So we did that first, and then we solve for our addition. So if your answer is 36, then congratulations, you did an amazing job. If not, please recheck that problem. Let's solve another problem, and in this case we have two exponents. So again, you're gonna be solving this equation. Please pause this video at this time, try to solve it in your notebook, and check out the answer in the next slide. So all that we did here was do our exponents first, and as we know, they are their own operation. So we solve them for them both. Then we had a multiplication, a subtraction, and a division in our expression. So we solved multiplication and division in the order that they were in, from left to right. And we ended up with a subtraction. And our answer was 1,681. So if you had the same answer as me, then good job. So let's try to solve this problem. Where will you start? Again, you can pause this video at this time, try to solve it by yourself in your notebook, and then check out the answer in the next slide. Again, we always start with our exponent right here. Once we solve the exponent, then we'll look for a multiplication or division. And depending where they are, that is where we're going to solve them. The first one was a division from left to right. So we solve the division, then we solve the multiplication, then we solve addition and subtraction, again from left to right. So the first one was an addition, and then we solve for our subtraction. And our answer is the number 35. So if you had the same answer as me, then congratulations, you did an amazing job. Now let's talk about parentheses. And the parentheses, what it tells us is that this part is the most important part of your operations. So when you are solving your exercise, please pay close attention to everything that is inside the parentheses, and you will use the same order of operation inside the parentheses and then solve what is outside. So just like I said before in the last slide, we always do our parentheses first. So even though we have a multiplication, we have to solve everything that is inside the parentheses first. Now, you can pause this video at this time, try to solve it in your notebook, and check out the answer in the next slide. So what we did here was answer first what we had inside the parentheses, and in this case, we had an addition. Once we solved that addition, then we could multiply by 6, and this is our answer, 744. If you have the same answer than me, then good job. Let's do another problem here. Again, you have to solve first what is inside the parentheses in the same order of operations. You can pause this video right here and check out the answer in our next slide. Our answer is 174, and if you had the same answer as mine, then congratulations. And all we did here was solve what was inside the parentheses first. And we first had a multiplication, so we solved for that. Then we had a division, so we solved after it for that. Then we solved our subtraction that was inside the parentheses. And then we could solve our last subtraction that gives us the answer. Now let's try to solve another problem right here. Again, we will solve everything that is inside the parentheses first in the same order of operations. Again, you can pause this video at this point, try to solve it in your notebook, and check out the answer in the next slide. As you can see, every single problem that we are solving are getting harder and harder, so we can practice our orders of operations. So the first thing that we did was answer everything that was inside the parentheses. So we solved first the division, and because this multiplication was attached to this division, we didn't do this one. Then we did the other division that we had there. Once everything was passed, then I could do that multiplication, because again, I had the division first, then the multiplication, so I have to solve this part first. Once I have solved it, then I can multiply it by 2. Then I had my subtractions inside my parentheses. So I started with this subtraction first, first, because it was the first one left from right. And then I subtracted by 7 because it's the last one that I have left. Once I have answered everything inside my parentheses, then I can multiply it by that 2 that was outside. And the answer is 406. And if you have the same answer as me, then congratulations, you did an amazing job. Now that we have touched everything that has to do with parentheses, exponents, multiplications, divisions, additions, and subtractions. Now let's mix everything up. Now let's do some expressions that have parentheses and exponents. And I have this problem right here. Where will you start? You remember you always start with the parentheses first, solve everything that is inside in the order of operation. Again, please pause this video at this time, try to solve this in your notebook, and check out the answer in the next slide. So what we did here is that we solved first for our expression. Then we solve our divisions from left to right. And again, I couldn't solve this multiplication first than this division because this multiplication was attached to the answer of this division right here. So first I divided, then I multiplied it, and then I could solve this division right here. Once I get to this parentheses, I solve for my multiplication, and then I solve for my subtraction. Once I have answered everything inside my parentheses, then now I can subtract that answer to my 100. If your answer was 71, then congratulations, you did an amazing job. Let's do another one right here. And again, every time is getting a little bit harder. So try to pause this video at this point and check out the answer in the next slide. And all that we did here was answer what was inside our parentheses first. We started with our exponents. And then we solve our division. And then we solve everything that it was inside that parentheses. Outside the parentheses, we solved first with our exponent. Then we did our division. And once I have everything that was inside and outside that parenthesis solved, now I can solve for what was left. If your answer was 57, then you did an amazing job. Congratulations. Now let's do just one more problem, shall we? I have now my parentheses is elevated to the second power. So what do we do here? First, again, we're going to solve everything inside that parentheses. After we solve everything, then we can do that exponent right here. And then we can solve that subtraction. So again, try to pause this video at this time. Try to answer it in your notebook and check out the answer in the last slide. Again, what we did here was answer our exponents. Then we answer our multiplication. Then we solve for our subtraction. And once everything was solved inside that parenthesis, now I can solve for that exponent. Once everything was solved there, then I can solve for my subtraction. And if your answer was 21, then congratulations. You have graduated in your order of operations. So this is going to be your homework, and you're going to go to page 18 and 19 of your math textbook. And this textbook is going to be Holt McDougall, sorry, Pre-Algebra book, and it has to say Common Core on the top of that book, in the cover of that book. And you're going to do those exercises on your notebook. Once you have finished those exercises, go to this Google form, just click it. It's also on the presentation and in LMS. Just click on that link, hyperlink, and it will take you to a Google form where you can add your name, your last name, your homeroom, and then you're gonna put just the answers and only the answers to those exercises right there in that Google form. It's very important that you fill it up because That is my evidence that you are doing your daily work. And that is what I am going to put points to it. So check it out. Please do it. If you only do them on your notebook, then I don't know if you're completing that homework or not. So please fill out that Google form. And I hope you enjoyed this little video, this little presentation. Um, and I hope to see you soon in our next class. Have a nice day.